Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a seriously fascinating subject using a source that paints a deeply contrasting picture of the United States. We're looking at a nation that's globally recognized for its massive wealth and modern lifestyle, but, well, our source material reveals a dual reality filled with some incredibly surprising contradictions. Okay, let's dive into this and explore the incredible highs, the bizarre quirks, and the darker truths of America entirely through the lens of our provided source text. Now, word America, what pops into your head? Right? You probably think of soaring skyscrapers, massive tech giants, and Hollywood blockbusters. It's undeniably a global superpower. But what exactly hides beneath that polished surface? Our source takes us on a journey way past the traditional narratives of wealth and success, and it prompts us to look at the everyday eccentricities, the strange historical footnotes, and some rather harsh societal realities that definitely don't make it onto the glossy tourist postcards. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The global superpower, 2. Wealth and innovation, 3. Everyday cultural quirks, 4. Historical surprises, and 5. The darker reality.
Section 1. The global superpower. The numbers here brilliantly illustrate the sheer scale of things right off the bat. There is a massive contrast at the very foundation of this power. Get this, America holds only about 5% of the global population, yet it commands a staggering 25%, literally one full quarter of the entire global economy. That means the economic output generated here vastly outpaces its share of the world's people.
But hey, that percent still equates to over 340 million people. That makes it the third most populated country on Earth, sitting just behind India and China. And the vast majority of this population tends to cluster in incredibly bustling, fast-paced states like Texas, California, Florida, and New York. But, it's not all concrete jungles and superhighways. Over 3.31 million square kilometers of the country is covered in dense forests. To put that into perspective, this incredible expanse of nature ranks America fourth globally in terms of forest cover, trailing only behind Canada, Russia, and Brazil. It's a nation of incredible natural scale, setting the stage perfectly for an economic powerhouse. Moving right along to Section 2, Wealth and Innovation. Listen to this staggering fact highlighted in our source material. A single American tech company, Apple, has achieved a net worth of around $3 trillion. Just let that sink in for a second. If Apple were a country, its wealth would rival the GDPs of the top 5 richest nations in the entire world. It's almost an incomprehensible level of concentrated wealth. So the crucial point is how this immense wealth translates into unmatched global and cultural influence. This is a country that literally exports its workplace culture to the rest of us, like pioneering the work-from-home movement way before the pandemic made it a necessity. Meanwhile, it welcomes the world internally. There's actually no official language at the federal level, and over 300 different dialects are spoken across the country. Combine that with the 7th strongest passport, granting visa-free access to 185 countries, and you have a population deeply connected to the globe, all symbolized by the ultimate seat of power, the sprawling 132-room White House. All right, Section 3, Everyday Cultural Quirks. Now, what's really interesting about this claim is the total contrast in education. While schools globally are often defined by really strict study pressure and heavy backpacks, the American system is viewed quite differently by our source. According to the text, students have incredible flexibility to choose subjects based entirely on their interests. Even more surprisingly, the source claims that dating is openly encouraged in schools. It's apparently viewed not as a distraction, but as a genuinely beneficial step for a child's psychological growth. And the quirks definitely don't stop there. Our source throws a real curveball here, providing a truly wild juxtaposition. It claims that roughly 7% of the American population admits to absolutely never bathing. Yes, you heard that right. No showers, no baths. Yet, this supposedly unwashed demographic lives in a country that notoriously pampers its pets, playing host to a staggering 52.6 million pet dogs living a life of absolute luxury. It's quite the contrast in hygiene and priorities. According to this sourced video, the lifestyle claims get even more surprising. Imagine a culture where a bottle of wine routinely replaces water after dinner, or where 1 in 8 people view working at McDonald's almost as a passionate rite of passage rather than just a regular job. Add in the claim that a massive 25% of the population has actually appeared on television at some point, and to top it all off, the text asserts that medical facilities are entirely free, a highly debated claim for sure, that certainly paints a very idealized picture of the healthcare system.
Let's shift gears a bit. Section 4, Historical Surprises.
Let's move through the timeline and see how this builds, because this nation evolved incredibly fast. New York actually served as the capital in the 1780s before everything moved to DC. And in a truly bizarre twist, celebrating Christmas was practically illegal in America until 1836. No way, right? Then came massive expansion, like buying the absolutely enormous territory of Alaska from Russia for just $7.2 million in 1867. That was followed by welcoming the world in 1886 with the iconic Statue of Liberty, which, fun fact, was actually a giant gift from France.
Have you ever stopped and wondered why American currency is famously green? Well, according to the text, the greenback gets its signature color from an early anti-counterfeiting measure. Back in the era of early black and white photography and printing, making the money bright green ensured that counterfeiters couldn't simply snap a photo and print fake bills. Pretty clever, right? Section 5, the darker reality.
It's important to neutrally report that our source material takes a very serious turn here, documenting severe societal and systemic issues that exist right alongside the massive wealth we just discussed. The wealth gap is incredibly stark. Remember that $3 trillion Apple economy? Well, right next to that, our source notes that while 51% of the population is middle class, 11.5% live below the poverty line. You can literally find struggling areas right in the shadow of luxurious skyscrapers. Furthermore, a massive 20 million people are living in roughly 8.5 million mobile homes, effectively living their entire lives in houses on wheels. When you look at social stability, this specific number really jumps out: 100. According to the source material, that is the number of divorces that happen every single hour in the country. This incredibly high rate has earned America the somewhat grim title of the divorce capital in the provided text. The systemic issues reported are severe and deeply concerning. The text explicitly highlights the tragedy of exploitation, noting that 1 in 5 women will face it in their lifetime. It also points to the alarming reality that child marriage still legally occurs in some states, like 14-year-olds in New York with parental consent. Alongside these grave human rights concerns, the source documents immense environmental struggles, citing the country as a top global polluter. It also touches on intense daily financial pressures, like a mandatory tipping culture that service workers require just to survive. To truly emphasize the scale of some of these reported issues, we have to listen to this direct quote. The source explicitly claims that an astonishing 22% of the population is currently locked up in jail. Furthermore, it claims that Americans blow the equivalent of trillions of rupees, which is hundreds of billions of dollars, on gambling every single year. It paints a picture of a massive struggle with vice in the justice system. Brings us to the end of our explainer. We've journeyed through a completely dual reality today. On one hand, a wealthy, innovative global superpower with a $3 trillion tech giant. On the other, a nation filled with unwashed dog lovers, incredible historical quirks, and deep, dark social disparities. Based entirely on the incredibly varied claims of our source text, I leave you with this question: how has your perception of this superpower changed today? Thank you so much for joining me, and keep exploring.